Oh, cool. All right. So I guess getting into it then. Welcome back, everyone. Last time we were in the midst of a big ol' snafu of plundering a camp of bandits who had stolen a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. Any questions, concerns?
Are we still in combat?
Did
We are in the middle of combat, right?
Yes, we are in the middle of combat. Oh my god, look at that goober.
What did you say, Jordan?
I said I will not behave. Fuck you.
Aw.
My name is Haley. My character is Moriel. You just want to know about her. Like, she's a half-elf ranger.
I am Rachel, and I am playing a character named Enya Crapter. Enya is a half-elf druid.
I am Jordan, and my character is Bikara Kopar, and she is a dragonborn bard.
So I am Greg Youngblood. I am the dungeon master for our group, and I am ostensibly all characters that are not the player characters.
My name is Miranda. I play Luxaria Knightley, who is a tiefling dream cleric. And I'm also your narrator. Hi. Dungeons & Dragons is an open-format storytelling game based on dice rolls. Basically, 6 of us roleplay individual characters we created by using various D&D guidelines, while Greg, our dungeon master or DM, plays all the other non-player characters and directs the major plot arcs of the story. There are also 2 more members of the party, our wizard Lucian and fighter Malrude, played by Brian and Chip, respectively, that weren't available for interviews, but whose voices you will hear in game session recordings.
So, I don't know the exact moment. Like, everyone heard about D&D and, like, you know, with parents, like, oh, the scare, and you're like, what is it? And you hear about Satanic Panic and all that stuff. But no, actually, the way that I started playing D&D with some friends is not actually playing D&D. So there's an old board game called Dragon Strike, and it actually comes with a VHS on like that you're supposed to watch to preface it. It's really cheesy, and it's great, and it's got some awesome names, and it's very emblematic of the era that it came from.
So my husband Will has a friend who is really into D&D, and he lives in Atlanta, and he came to Charlotte to visit, and we all got together, and that was when I did my first campaign, where I played like a different druid character, and I never played it before, but I knew like what it was. I knew what it was, like what the deal with it, like I knew about it, and then my friend Greg was like, hey, let's do our own campaign, and this was like a year later, and I was game, and yeah, so I joined.
It is my first campaign, and my only campaign. I think, like, so when it was suggested, everyone was like, we have a group, we should just form a, like, D&D campaign. I was like, I've never done that, I don't know anything about it, I don't know how to play or whatever, but I was like, if y'all are down to teach me, it sounds fun, because I really like, you know, fantasy kind of stuff, so I was like, oh, it's like a big fan of Lord of the Rings, so I'm like, well, it's like being in that, right? You get to like play as characters in like a fantasy setting.
I think so. I feel like once you play enough, you get to the point where you start having ideas on how to do things. You're like, well, I want to try this things or whatever, and this may not be the case, but once I played enough, I was like, you know, I think I could do it.
So this is my 3rd campaign, and this is the 3rd cleric I've built, actually, though I do try and change up the race and the type of cleric every time, so it's a little bit different as far as playstyle. This is also by far the longest running campaign that I've had. We've been going at this point for
oh god, how long has it been now?
Oh, okay. It's been going on for a while. It's been going on since we started in like fall of 2020, right?
So we have been playing for I think almost 2 years now on this one campaign, and there have been 8 people, maybe 9 to play total, and it's kind of like a play when you can make it kind of thing. So not everybody plays every week. But basically how like the story is that we are all like all D&D games kind of start off as a group of adventurers meet in a tavern, and then they band together, and then they're given their quest. And our big quest is we were given a magic box, and we can't open the box. We don't know what's inside the box, and we are supposed to get the box from point A to point B.
But I think it's been about what I would guess most people's campaigns are like when they just have somebody, I would guess, is what they have in mind when they're like, yeah, we're going to pick up D&D and play it. For reference, you guys are kind of on the southern side of this little mountain that is to the south of the town. In the distance,
Where
you
are
can.
we going again?
You're heading up this little mountain right now.
No, like
Following his cart.
ultimately, like where are we taking this fucking box?
Yeah, we're
Box doesn't matter.
a little side quest. It doesn't matter right now.
Well, back on the main
Very
map,
far away.
it's right here.
Okay.
It's not about the box. Forget the box.
And for reference, you guys are
It's about
about.
the journey, not the destination.
I don't really know how to describe. Like, I don't know how to describe the campaign as a whole because I feel like we've gotten so distracted from our original mission. So it's mostly just been chaotic adventures across the land.
So that's the current MacGuffin. But it's subject to change, and the end of the journey of the mysterious box does not necessarily mean the end of our campaign if we don't want it to be.
But I think it's been pretty good. It's definitely been eye-opening for me because, like I said, I've played a lot. I've been thinking about D&D for a long time, and it's only really in the past month or two that I've come to accept that, like, no, D&D is my hobby.
Most of us are no longer in school. Some of us don't necessarily work strictly 9 to 5, Monday through Friday jobs. Some of us live in different time zones. So between balancing an adult working life plus some leisurely time, like a 3-hour block of just doing D&D, I think that's been the most difficult thing so far, is just the distance, the individual schedules, the everything.
Huh. I think scheduling is always an issue. And I don't mean that in like the way that it's a particular issue for our group. I think scheduling is far and away the hardest thing for any group of D&D players.
I think like everybody has like different schedules, and everybody's doing like different things at different times. So right now we're playing every other Sunday, which is working for most people. Not Danny, unfortunately. Danny had to drop out because she is incredibly busy on Sundays. But that's like the one day everybody seems to have the most freedom with. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think like just getting to like, you know, figure out how my character would act and be and stuff in this situation, because I kind of like, you know, at the beginning came up with this whole big backstory for her, and then I was like, wait, how is that gonna fit in with like what we're doing on our little quest? And so I think like just figuring out the character and figuring out, you know, what would she do in this situation, even if it's like not what other people want to do.
That's probably generally the hardest, is also me recognizing that not everybody knows the rules and like the side stuff as well as I do, and trying to always keep that in mind and explain things. And it's also kind of hard because like sometimes I forget that I've explained some things, and I don't want to like become a broken record of like, oh well, this is this thing. like every other session. You know, you think about stuff like Critical Role, which Matt Mercer's great. He's like the DM to aspire to be, but it is all like homebrew, right? It's hard, and like I've played both modules with people, and I've played homebrew stuff, and there's pros and cons to both ways of doing it.
Everybody has kind of talked about scheduling, because yes, scheduling is a problem for literally whatever D&D group you're going to be in, whatever board game group, whatever tabletop RPG, but honestly, I think it's worth noting that we do only have 3 hours, which sounds like a lot of time, but it's kind of not. And sometimes we get distracted.
I really enjoy kind of all the side tangents that we get into. Like, for instance, cheese blood. That was fun. It's like, what if we just turn the enemy's blood into cheese? What would that do?
So, if Jesus
like-
turns water to wine, if you're turning blood to cheese, are you now Jesus?
Oh yeah.
I knew exactly where that was going.
Yes.
So, like, I feel like the number of steps from you are a sleep cleric to the moon is made of cheese to I want to make people cheese is not too far.
I mean, there's so much stuff. Not even. I'll let Rachel go into the birth of the panther god.
I know.
I'll let her talk about that. That's her trauma.
We went, I think it was you and me,
Because
We
went down the trapdoor.
went down the trapdoor and we encountered the Kuatoa, and we tried to fight them and we failed, but one of the main traits of druids, which is my character, is they can turn into different animals, and the main animal that my character turns into is a pink panther. So that was the last like thing that they fought before they raised their god. So when they raised their god from the sea, it took the form of a 10-story tall pink panther, and it was very traumatizing for my character.
I don't know. For me, I enjoy the roleplay, I enjoy the game, I enjoy the mechanics of figuring everything out with the details and the math and such, but like at the end of the day, I really get the most enjoyment out of being able to just spend time with people that I like.
Met everybody through college. I would say the OG core group of friends were we all met in marching band.
Okay. Yeah, it's just all of you guys are my college buddies, and like we talk all the time. So
The band people, even if they aren't in band anymore, the band people.
They're band people by association.
I guess Claire, who was in the campaign at one point, I knew in high school, and then kind of like went to the same college as her, and then connected with her group of friends. And then Greg, who's the DM, we met him like a couple years later. Yeah, and we met at college.
So I met everybody in college, but more specifically, I met them through a mutual friend who, through a bunch of stuff, is no longer a mutual friend. But I met everyone in college. It's been great. It's been lots of ups and downs, but mostly a good time. I wouldn't replace it with anything.
I'm glad that we get to kind of use this as a time to catch up and hang out and spend time together whenever we're all scattered across different states and places and points in our lives. I think I just turned this into a documentary about the power of friendship. I'm not mad about it.
All right. But yeah, I will put together a proposed schedule for new timelines on like when we'll be meeting and see how it works for everyone. Otherwise, hope y'all had fun. We'll pick it up in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Great,
thanks,
great.
Greg.
Woo! Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Later, everyone.
later.
Brian, I hope your drive goes smoothly.
Yeah, drive safe, please.
Thanks. Hopefully see a lot of y'all soon.
Yeah. Later, Brian. Later, everyone.
Bye.
Oh,
I think it's interesting too that I'm probably the one person in the party who like genuinely doesn't really like cheese.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
right. You don't like cheese.
I don't.
And yet you're our best candidate to become a hybrid sleep cleric / cheese mancer.
Yeah, I feel like that's everything.
Alright, cool. Well, I will definitely show you all this video whenever it is done.
Nice.
I'm sure it's somewhere in my notes that I take poorly.
There is it a bard? Or is it, I think it's the garlic bread cleric?
I'm sorry, what? Are we gonna have a cat cameo?
She's screaming at me, so yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.